Welcome, friends, it is I, your host LostScarf, and it's time for the Overwatch Hero Guide to Junkrat. That's right, it's time to play the indirect fire defense hero. He is such a good hero to play, so I felt like we should talk about him. He's very simple in what he can do, but if you get more complex with him, he can do a lot of work, and that's why he's going to be the newest defense hero we go over, and he's just a lot of fun to play. As always, we can go over who he is, his abilities, how you do combat with him. He does kind of have some combos to talk about. We're going to go over mode duties with him, tips and tricks, and of course come out with a conclusion there. And as always, the guides are more geared towards beginners, but there's a lot of information in here that might be helpful to advanced and expert players. If there's something you don't know here, that's great. If you do know all this stuff and there's something that might be missing here, please say the extra stuff in the comments so viewers have more to learn from. That's what's important here, so everyone can learn. The more we learn about the heroes in this game, the better we play at all the heroes in this game, and that's great for everybody. We have more challenges and just more better teammates. So let's get going. So who is Junkrat? Did you know Australians blew up Australia? Well, they did. They nuked it, and the radiation there made Jameson Fox a little crazy. So he became a junker. He's a scavenger, but he also likes blowing things up. And he found some big secret while hunting around in Australia for just whatever things he could find there. And now people are hunting him because they want whatever treasure it is. He split half of his treasure with Roadhog to make him his bodyguard, and that's why they've been together ever since on their international crime spree. Now, Junkrat is the indirect fire hero. He bounces grenades off walls to catch enemies around corners, to lob them over buildings as well, and he's just trying to catch his enemies just off guard. They just don't see the hits coming, and if they do see the hits coming, they're going to regret it because it's going to hurt a lot. He is very tricky to fight as and against because of those bounces and the tricks he can do with his trap and his concussive mine, and then there's his Riptire which can wipe out an entire team. He takes some work to learn, but once you figure out how to aim his grenades, you can become a deadly force when you're out there. Junkrat's abilities. First up, gotta talk about the frag launcher. So this is a grenade launcher that does 120 damage per direct hit. Splash damage does less damage. It explodes on contact or after bouncing off 3 surfaces before exploding. Junkrat can also hurt himself with these grenades, so be a little careful with him. Next up, gotta talk about his passive, and that is Total Mayhem. When Junkrat dies, he drops 5 grenades. They each deal 60 damage, so that's total 300 damage. So anyone that is not a tank that steps over Junkrat when he dies will die to him. That's what's gonna happen to him. Next up, Concussive Mine. This is a 120 damage bomb that deals knockback to enemies and Junkrat. It can be detonated at any time once thrown, so you use left shift to throw it, and then right trigger to blow it up. It can also be used by Junkrat to climb buildings, since he doesn't hurt himself with it. Then there's his E ability. This is an 80 damage trap that you put on the ground. It stuns enemies for 1 second and roots them for 3 seconds, which allows Junkrat or allies to kill someone after this happens. And lastly, there's Riptire. What happens here is Junkrat puts down a bomb and he just stands there while his bomb is remote controlled by him. You send the bomb over to your enemies and you try to blow it up on them. The bomb does 600 damage at close range. The damage falls off over distance. It has 100 HP so the enemy can destroy it before it gets to them. Other thing to keep in mind is that Junkrat is vulnerable during his ultimate, so be careful where you use it. You can also kill yourself with the wheel, so be a bit careful with that as well. But this can clear an entire party. That is the thing that's very scary about it, and that's why it's such a risky move. Combos and combat. Junkrat has 2 combos, and the first combo is Steel Trap plus Concussive Mine. You put the mine down with the trap, and when someone steps on the trap, you hear it triggered, and then boom, you blow it up. That does 200 damage. That is 80 from the trap, 120 from the mine. This kills 15 different heroes in this game. That is a pretty good little combo there. And so the other combo is a similar idea, except this is more in combat. Frag plus mine. Each does 120, so that's 240 damage total. Land a frag on the enemy, then throw your concussive mine at the enemy. You detonate, that does 120 damage, so you hit 240 damage total. That kills 15 different heroes in this game because there's so many heroes with 200 HP. Reaper and Mei survive with only 10 HP left, so run over and punch them in the face. Just punch them and they're dead. Tanks require more frags to kill, so it's not as useful against them, but it can be something you can do against them as well, because that is a good chunk of HP. Now when it comes to combat, Junkrat is a very simple hero with a lot of room for complexity. Bounce grenades at the enemy, set up traps, and blow everything up. You can bounce the grenades off so many different surfaces to hit the enemy. You can lob them so very high and make them land on certain spots. If you memorize the map, you can know how to land a shot on nearly anywhere in the game. That's what can make Junkrat so scary. And then there's just the things you can do with this trap. You can use your trap to cut off areas for the enemy to go, so you can't get flanked, or you can't get attacked from behind. You can also put the concussive mine in different places. If you know where the enemy is, you can do a lot of work with it, because concussive mine is a way of just hitting an enemy with a bomb as it's traveling, so you can be very annoying with that as well. Junkrat can just be very useful when you do that. And the last big thing to say about Junkrat is, his grenades come out very fast and he reloads very fast, so you can just fire and forget all day. Just shoot everything, shoot everywhere, and sometimes luck is all you need. You'll kill people. because those grenades go everywhere. But let's not forget the Riptire. The Riptire can kill everyone in the game. It does 600 damage. That kills everybody. As long as you get past the shields, you can kill everyone behind the shields. As long as you're point blank when you hit Roadhog, you'll kill him. Because the damage falls off at distance, which means if you hit Roadhog next to him, it might not fully kill him. But if you hit it right on him, it will kill him for the full 600. The only one that can survive it is if Roadhog gets armor from Torbjorn, or if the tanks maybe get a little bit of armor, or, of course, Winston ult. Winston ult is 1000 HP, he will survive the explosion. Besides that, everybody dies, and it's just such a nice ult for it. And that's of course why Junkrat's so vulnerable during it. He can be killed during his ultimate, and his ultimate can be killed rather easily, since most attacks can do 100 damage to it very quickly. Mode duties. First up, we're going to talk about Capture, Hybrid, and Payload. Now, when you're attacking with Junkrat in Capture and Hybrid, you only have one job. Kill everyone. Lob those grenades at the point, leave a trap at your team's current flank, make sure the enemy doesn't get behind your team while you're dropping bombs on the point or around it. Just keep shooting at the enemy to kill them. You can try to flank yourself to get around shields, or just blow up the shields directly. You can take a lot of shots at them. Reinhardt's shield takes about 17 shots to blow up. Winston's takes about 7. So, since Junkrat can shoot so fast, you can eventually take those shields out pretty quickly anyway, so Junkrat can be useful for that. Now, once you're on the point, you're attacking from the point. You're just shooting everywhere trying to kill the enemies so they can't take the point away from you. Now, on the payload side of things, you're hiding behind the cart while throwing out bombs, or flanking the enemy and dropping bombs. You're just attacking from the cart or around the cart to keep the enemies away. And that Riptire of yours, you're going to use it whenever possible to kill lots of heroes, or at the very least, healers and tanks. Healers preferably. Now on defense, similar thing, kill everybody. But the thing is, you're defending by putting your trap at one of the enemy routes of attack. You're putting it on one of the flanks so the enemy cannot flank you as easily as they could. Just keep holding that spot, keep it down for your team. That'll be very helpful because there are always flank points in the game at any point. You can also flank the enemy if you want. This can be helpful, especially if they're using shields. You can blast the shields away like I said before, or flank the shields that hit around them. Those are your choices. And in payload, you're just launching bombs and Riptires at the enemy to kill them over and over and over again. Your entire goal is to keep them off the cart by just killing them. That is all you do with Junkrat, simple as that. Now in control, you're helping your allies kill the enemy and securing the point. That's all you do. If you don't get the point, you're shooting bombs at the point. You get the point, you're shooting bombs away from the point to protect the point. That is all you do with Junkrat. Covering flanks as always, just shooting at the enemy, kill the enemy. That's all Junkrat does. Blow things up and hold off flanks, or do the flanking himself. And you do that very well, you're going to win the game. That is for dang sure. Tips and tricks with Junkrat. First up, don't rely on your passive to kill people. It helps, but don't assume they're dumb enough to walk over your corpse. People are learning to not do that, so don't rely on it. Some people try to, but it just doesn't work out. Another is, frags always explode after 3 bounces, unless they hit someone for a direct hit, or if they get stuck. If they get stuck, then they explode after a second. Now, depending on angle, frags will fly over or under your fire cursor, so you gotta pay attention to that when you're shooting at things. Another is, spam frags all day. You reload fast and you shoot fast. Sometimes luck will win you the game if you land enough frags on things. Another one is, shoot frags straight into the air to surprise enemies during a point fight. Like you're fighting an enemy and you're just not landing shots on them. If you put frags in the air, they'll bounce down, up and down for a little bit, and they'll probably hit somebody because they just don't see it coming. And here's an important one. 17 frags to blow up Reinhardt's shield, 7 to blow up Winston's. Since you shoot so fast, it is something worth considering, just killing their shields so your teammates can just converge and destroy them. Another is, use trapped enough the team is being flanked. You put it on one of the flanking points. If it's destroyed or if someone trips it, you know something's going on over there, so you can check it out or tell your team. Now here's an important one. Riptire can climb walls. This includes May's wall, so keep that in mind when you're using it. Here's a good one as well against May. You can set up trap plus mine combo under May during her cryo freeze heal. It makes it very bad for her when she gets out of it. And here's another fun one with the mine. You can place it under Reinhardt to knock him away. That's a fun one you can do, keeps him away from his teammates, and you can just kill his teammates while he's away from them. And here's another thing to just keep in mind with the Riptire and shields, that is, the blast can be blocked by shields, so you want to get past the shields and then blow up to kill more enemies. And lastly, you can put the trap and the mine in front of the payload, and as it goes forward with the enemy, as they're standing behind it, eventually one of them's going to walk on it, and you might get a kill. It's just a funny thing you can do. In conclusion, Junkrat is a very simple hero that can be more complicated if you want to be. He can just spam frags all day, put his trap out and his bomb out in front of the enemy and try to catch him that way, and he'll get a lot of kills. But you can also consider putting his trap and mine in flanking positions to do even more work, and that'll do a lot of things for your team, so you'll win the game. And that right there is the Junkrat guide. As always, I feel it's important to subscribe and to share these guides. That way more people get good at the game. Just have more people they can play as in this game. Because the better your opponents, the better your teammates, the better you are at this game, the better it is for everyone in general. Now, up next is going to be Zarya. She's a very fun hero. Has probably the highest skill ceiling in the game as far as the game goes. Not the highest, but she has one of the highest ones. Maybe the highest for tanks for sure. She's a fun hero to play. She can do a lot of work if you play her right. And that's why she's going to be the next guide coming up. So there you go. That is the guide. I had fun making it. Hope you had fun watching and learning from it. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.